Mr. Brandon LaRue. What's going on, my buddy?
What's up, JP?
Well, thanks for jumping on the Fit Archer podcast.
It is an honor to be here.
You fit the bill. You fit the bill. You are fit. You're an archer. I think you got all the right arrows now. I think you're shooting all uniform 12 with the same arrows, aren't you?
Yeah. I was going to say, I don't know if I've earned the title of archer yet. Maybe flinger, the fit flinger.
The fit flinger. Hey, we'll take it. You're an archer, man. You're just an outdoorsman. You're a fishing fool right now.
I am. And I actually have your old, what is it, a Jennings bow fishing setup?
Jennings Unistar. Is it right by you?
Go grab it.
Go grab it.
Within 15 feet of me.
Go get it.
All right, hang on.
Kiddos, get off the internet.
A little slow over there.
Yeah. Oh, did you hear me yell that?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, I thought I muted out.
Ma, the meatloaf.
So this is this would have been like my second bow. My uncle had this. This is an old contraption when Brandon comes back on. We're on YouTube, everybody, on the Fit Archer YouTube channel. So you're going to be able to see a little bit of Brandon's workout space, see his bulging biceps. He's making sure he's showing and he's going to grab the bow. Yeah, so I saw a picture of him the other day and he was on Facebook shooting carp. And I'm like, dang, he's got a Jennings Unistar. And then I talked to my brother. My brother's like, yeah, I saw Brandon and gave him your Jennings Unistar to go shoot carp. You didn't leave me,
God.
did you?
No, this I don't have a case for this. So like the string that's attached to the arrow is little
All over the place?
Yeah. So maybe I won't grab it.
That's fine. I wanted to show somebody what it looked like because it's a unique setup.
Oh,
making me a little nervous now, Brandon, what my bow looks like.
It's fine, but you know how that the string comes out of there sometimes, and
yeah. Well, just let the string pull. Just pull the string out and just walk the bow over. If you got 15 feet of string on there, you're all right.
I totally could do that. Here, just give me a little more. You edit these, right? So you can just.
Nah, people can hear this.
Oh,
this
awesome.
is the Fit Archer. I don't need to be all fancy and edit. I'm not trying to be Joe Rogan or anything like that. I just love having good conversations with good people.
Yeah.
We've had some great guests on here. I don't know if you've listened to any of them yet.
I see them. I try to keep up with it. And then I tell myself, oh, I'm going to watch that. Oh my gosh, this is just here. I'll show you what I got going on over here. This will be good content.
Oh my goodness, I'm nervous. Do you have a rat's nest on the carp shooting bow?
Look at this.
So if you're in a hurry, how does that work out? Oh my goodness.
I had them sitting on top of one another because that's kind of how Brandon just gave them to me. I'm like, okay, yeah.
So a good way to do it is when you're done, you reel them all the way up.
I'm pretty sure I had it that way, but I got kids that are in my garage all the time.
So hold that bow up. Look at that old contraption. That's a Jennings Unistar. That thing probably weighs about 9 pounds. Look at double wheels, and it's got a big contraption right in the middle. That thing is wild. You killed some carp with it too, haven't you?
Oh yeah, like old bowfin got me a bowfin. that was the first kill for Brandon.
What was a bowfin?
Yeah, right to
What's
the face. Dogfish.
Oh, I've never heard him called a bowfin.
Well, I like to sound smart. I call it by its actual name.
Bowfin. Do you shoot any gar yet?
Kind of like when you call it a skipjack, I call it a moon eye.
Rough fish. That's what I call them.
Yeah. Oh.
Well, this is going to be a fun episode. So I wanted Brandon on, and obviously this is called the Fit Archer, and I love fitness is one of my passions. I really enjoy it. Probably won't find somebody more passionate about fitness than my guest on here today. And we've developed a really great relationship, really unique how we met. But you're doing some really, really amazing things in the world of fitness athletics and young athletics in general. And we'll get talking about all that stuff, but let's just go back and tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell everybody who you are and where you grew up, what makes you tick from the fitness standpoint. You're an avid outdoorsman. I mean, everybody is jealous of your Facebook page because you're either on the Sea Eagle in your fishing boat or you're out turkey hunting. And I know you're dragging your kids along as an excuse to be able to go all the time. I'm a dad. I know how this works. You're getting a lot of time to go fishing.
Meanwhile, everyone's going Sea Eagle.
Yeah, but I found one. I found a Sea Eagle just like yours for $625.
That's actually a good deal. You know, we should probably become affiliates of Sea Eagle before we launch this thing because there's probably some commissions to be made.
Could be some, yeah. If you go to Sea Eagle Fit Archer 2020 for a 10% discount on Sea Eagle.
forward slash hashtag JP Fit Archer. So, okay. I
can't hear me.
Well, I'm a husband. I'm a father. So I've been married for almost 10 years. It'll be 10 years in October to my beautiful bride, Jenny. And I got 3 kids. Brooks, my son, is 7. And Livia is almost 5. And my first daughter, my second daughter, Brady, is almost 2. So love being a husband and a father. And I live in La Crescent, Minnesota, which is the southeast corner of Minnesota. If you're not familiar with southeast Minnesota, it's an outdoorsman's paradise. And so if you're from out west or other parts of the country, it's a beautiful place. And if you ever want to hunt and fish, it's a great place to do that. So I grew up here and was an athlete and kind of a jock growing up. But my dad and my grandpa just were avid outdoorsmen. They did a little bit of everything. They were kind of a jack of all trades, master of none when it came to hunting. So my dad was a bow hunter, a pretty hardcore bow hunter before bow hunting was popular. This was like late 70s, early 80s. And they pheasant hunted and they duck hunted and they trapped and they turkey hunted, they grouse hunted, they squirrel hunted. So probably similar to you, JP, growing up, like just a little bit of everything. And I just loved all of it. And so I grew up here, left here to go to college, and then I was up in the Twin Cities metro area for a good, probably last 18 years. I was either in Mankato or the Twin Cities area. So I was away from southeastern Minnesota. Of course, I visited and stuff like that. I came back to bow hunt in the fall, but I've largely been away from it, and there were just visits back. And now I'm back, and I am savoring. Like I've missed it. And I'm so grateful that I got away. I'm really grateful that I got away and just got a greater perspective than just small town La Crescent, Minnesota. And built relationships far and wide and saw a lot of the world through business ventures. And so I'm able to take that broadened perspective and leadership and personal growth that I've gone on the last decade of my life and bring it back to a smaller town. And I think it's just really equipped me to do something special here for kids, for adults. Yeah. And then I get to hunt and fish a lot while I'm here.
You really do live in the Mecca for just being an outdoorsman. You said we grew up so similar. My dad did everything. We pheasant hunted, grouse hunted, squirrel hunted, deer hunted. We ice fished and then when we were done ice fishing, we would rabbit hunt, and then we would fish in the summer. I mean, we did everything. And it's you just get so it's different for where I live now. I say this on every podcast when I talk to somebody. It's different where we live now. You just don't get to do that. And I see my kids not getting. It's not in their blood the way it still is with me. Like I'm watching Brooks, he just diehard fishing. We just don't have that ability to go fishing as often, because it's not just 10 minutes down the road or, jumping my bike and head down 1 mile and I'm on the lake fishing and throwing. Now, but if you've noticed, I've been hopping my fence. We moved to a new place and I hop my fence and we're on a golf course and there are ponds. So
Ooh,
I've been going out there every night fishing. I didn't go last night. I've been going out every night. I had a big one on the other night. I don't know if it was a
largemouth or
catfish.
what?
There's largemouth in it. I've been catching little bitty dinky largemouth, but you're not supposed to fish in them. But there's a couple people that do, and I'm like, it's just such a great stress reliever for me to run out there and
Oh yeah.
throw a
What are they gonna
spinnerbait.
do? What are they gonna do? Arrest you? You know?
Maybe, maybe. I don't know.
Nowadays,
Who
you
knows
never
in
know.
today's
You never
society?
know nowadays. Yeah,
Yeah.
seriously.
Well, so you graduated high school. You were a phenomenal athlete, multi-sport athlete, very good. You went to college, played sports, and kind of pick me up there. Tell me kind of where your sporting endeavors took you, because it kind of took you on a neat path.
Yeah. Yeah, I did. I was blessed with a lot of athleticism, more than I probably knew. And I was an underachiever, in other words. Just because priorities in my life, I just got mixed up. I was a pretty straight and narrow kid in high school. I was all about sports, and sports were really fun for me. And when you're having fun, this is kind of what I try to coach and foster with kids is try to get them to have fun so they can perform. You can't perform when you're not having fun. It's just wired that way, you know? And when I got to college, I walked on. I was a very recruitable kid out of high school, although interestingly, I lived with my grandparents going into my summer of my senior year and my senior year. My dad had got laid off and had to take a new job, and my brother and him moved to Waseca because he got a job at Hormel, which is in Austin, Minnesota. Spam, USA. And so I didn't have a whole lot of guidance. I got recruited by Ivy League schools. I was getting recruiting letters from like Boise State to go play football, NDSU to go play football. I was getting some for baseball, more JUCO, junior college baseball. And now I was getting some for D2 wrestling. And all this stuff's coming in and getting phone calls, and I wouldn't call them back. I didn't know I had to correspond with these people. And I didn't have anyone telling me or helping me. I just didn't have it. My grandpa at the time was in his mid-60s, probably quit playing sports when he was 15. He didn't know how to navigate that. So I just assumed that if I was going to get a scholarship, that they would just mail it to you like, hey, we'd like to offer you a full scholarship. It's not how it works. Like you have to show interest, you build a relationship, and that recruiting process. I dropped the ball on that. I didn't know any better. And so I ended up my senior year in the spring, I had no idea where I was going to go to school. And my best friend at the time, and still one of my very best friends, Eric Larson, I asked him one day, I'll never forget. He goes, hey, do you know where you're going to school? I go, no, I don't. He goes, I think I'm going to go to Mankato. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds good. And I went to their website, saw they had a baseball team. That was a pretty good baseball team. And they had a football team. I'm like, yeah, I think I'll do that. That's how I made my decision to go to college.
Crazy.
So I ended up walking on to their football team in the fall, and redshirted like most incoming freshmen do as a quarterback. I wanted to play quarterback, and then the second year, so I played a lot of scout team, like as a redshirt, and I just loved it. I mean, it was like Friday Night Lights for me. Let's go. I was the guy on special teams busting the wedge. You
were the Mankato Rudy.
I was, it was because I wanted to have some fun.
Yeah.
And you got to compete and show that you got some grit and you want to play. And so I was just doing those things. And one thing, very few people are going to outwork me. That's one way I've found success, is just outworking people. And so it was pretty apparent to me, that coach ended up retiring. A new coach was going to come in, and he wanted to make me a strong safety because I played scout team defense all the time. And they liked how I played defense. And I'm like, nah, I want to be a quarterback. And anyways, that journey was short because that spring, I walked onto the baseball team and I earned the varsity starting catcher position, which, like that doesn't happen very often with a, Division II powerhouse program like that. You just walk on and you win the starting job. So I earned that. And then the second year I had a pretty good freshman year. I could have done better, but that second year going back out for football in two-a-days, wasn't very many reps behind under the center. And I was getting frustrated because I felt like I was every bit as good as the number one guy. And here I am in fourth on the depth chart and I'm not getting any reps. And I'm just like, this is stupid. I went and talked to my coach and just said, hey, our summer baseball team made it to the state tournament. I play a big role in the team. I'm the starting catcher. I'm one of the, whatever. I'm a big contributor. And I'd like to miss a practice or two to make the state tournament. And he said, no. And I was like, what do you mean no? I'm not getting any reps right now anyways, And he said, well, if I let you do that, I got to let other people do this. And I'm like, okay. So I went back to my cot in two-a-day camp and I just kind of packed up my stuff. And I'm like, okay, football, I guess we're done. And I've just pursued baseball from there on out and had a pretty good run. But like I was saying, as an underachiever, I just got caught up in the wrong things, JP. We've talked a lot about this in my college years, your college years. I partied way too much. My priorities were mixed up. And while I certainly practiced hard and in the weight room, I was always there working hard, very, very boisterous leader in the dugout on the field. But off the field, I didn't do the little things, and it cost me. For a long time, I ended up getting cut after my second year. I was a 2-year starter, went from number one to getting cut. And that hurt, man. I could have transferred to other places to play, but I ended up hanging it up and really quitting for the first time in my life, which it rocked my world because it was my identity was in sports. So I was lost. I just kind of partied harder, chased more girls. And, but as I've grown up, I've accepted my responsibility for getting cut. I know there's still some really weird things of why I got cut. It still doesn't make sense, but I have to own, part of that as just, I wasn't doing the little things right. But so met a lot of great people, really cut my athletic career short. There was definitely some life left in this arm, let's just say. And, but I met my wife shortly thereafter. So God is good. He turned, some poor decision-making and stuff on my end and turned it for good, led me to my beautiful bride. So,
there's so much teaching lesson in that for young athletes. I mean, if you just, and you're doing this, you're doing such a good job of getting a hold of young athletes now and getting them on the right track. And hopefully what you're teaching them is going to, stay with them through they get into those high school years. That is such a pivotal time. I think of it all the time on my own journey. I wasn't the athlete that you were, but if I could, and I tell my kids this all the time, if I could go do it over again, I'd be an A student and nobody would outwork me. And I outworked pretty much everybody that I competed against anyway. I was up and working out before school, because there's the only time you could work out, and then we did sports, but I didn't really give it what it had, because you never know this as a young athlete, that when it's over, it's over. Mm-hmm. And then you're this disgruntled, 45-year-old guy like I am, thinking I can still do it. Now I can't. Now I'm on a baseball field with 15-year-olds that can outplay me hands down and beat me in races and jumps and everything else that when you're there, you don't ever think it's going to end. You don't think it's ever going to end. And you can party and chase girls and still just skate by, but it just doesn't work that way, man. But like you said, God is good, but if you can now take your experiences like you are, what you did, and help another younger kid. One day they're going to be on a podcast somewhere. I could be bald and gray and, or bald, no hair, and interview an athlete that you had your hand on that's maybe playing in, professional sports one day. I really believe that'll be the truth.
I do too. And it might not even be professional sports as so much as just teaching them how to be good people, good adults, good leaders. And like, there's just a couple just this past week. So we're 3 weeks into our summer program with these athletes, and they're working hard. I mean, probably harder than they've ever worked in their life. And that's just something this town needs. Let's just leave it at that. And so there's so many lessons to teach these kids, and we don't have enough time to always just sit them down and talk lessons. But we, like for example, the other day there's this, these are 13, 14-year-old kids. So they're cliquey, and going through that weird stage of life. So I get it. But there's these 4 or 5 kids, and we really stress language. Like you can't be cussing in that weight room, like it is just not allowed. And there was this one kid, they were done with their session. So they were outside, and I was outside just giving them a hard time, whatever, just shooting the breeze with them, telling them they need to go eat their face off, 'cause they're all skin and bones. And I heard one kid drop the F-bomb, and he caught him. He said it, but then he was like, coach is out here. And I pointed at him, and he goes, it's outside of the session, doesn't matter. And I was just like, try again, and I kind of just said, that's the crap that needs to leave. That's the stuff that needs to leave this community. I realize you're going to slip from time to time, but that crap, that attitude, it doesn't matter. We're not in the session anymore. I said, that's the loser attitude that La Crescent has. And then they were kind of like, puckered up a little bit. And then as I turned my head, he rolled his eyes at me. I'm like, and I pointed at him again. I'm like, tomorrow. That's all I said. I said, tomorrow. And then they left. And the next day we had a great teachable moment, I got to learn to bite my tongue. So I was biting my tongue on some things I wanted to say. So it gave me a day to kind of, and so that day after they were done with their session, they're about to leave. And I said, you're with me. And we went into the arena, and we got to have a good teachable moment about, these are the popular kids. Okay. These are the athletes that are better than the other kids. They're the popular kids, and I just helped them understand that the influence they have. I said, look, you guys don't understand how influential and how powerful your words and your leadership is right now. I said, you have the power to be a really good leader for the other kids in there, or you can be a poor one. It's one or the other. Right now, you're not being a good one. I said, there's some kids in there that really look up to you because you are athletic, because you are popular, because, those are things that really matter at your age. And I'm like, I said, imagine if you were encouraging, you guys weren't just keeping to yourselves, telling your little jokes and kind of snarky at other kids. What if you were to go to that kid, the unathletic kid, the kid that has that struggles with everything, and you just said, hey, nice job. I see you working in here and getting better. Nice job. That's all you got to say to them. Do you know you could change their life? And they were just kind of like, I'm telling you, I've made these mistakes. Don't make them. Now go run.
I figured it in the arena was a wrestling mat first. I thought you were going to go take down.
No.
A little bit. You wanted to, though.
Oh, it's a hockey arena. So there's no ice. So these ran 300-yard shuttles until they about puked. But,
wow.
But that was a lesson. And then the next day, we got 2 eyes in there, 2 really good eyes. Uriah Hayes, who played in the NHL. I mean, a better athlete than I ever was. And he's in there like a chicken hawk. We're both in there kind of like, and one kid, if you're shaving reps, you're busted. I mean, we were on it. And this kid wasn't good at pull-ups or chin-ups we were doing the other day. And we We were doing sled pushes, which he was good at, and chin-ups, which he wasn't good at. And he skipped 4 out of the 5 sets. And we let it go, during the session. Said, okay. And Orion and I kind of had a discussion, like, I got this one. And he gets the next one. I got this one. He gets the next one. And just as this kid's going out to go to a different practice, I said, you're not going anywhere. Come here. And just have those conversations, man. I like you said, JP, I think they have the chance to, it seems so simple, like cheating on chin-ups, but that's an integrity and a character issue. And if it's not addressed, cheating on chin-ups can become cheating on a test, cheating in life. And, I just have a conversation, and he lied to me. And I said, you got a chance to correct. You lied to me right there. You have a chance to tell me the truth. And then he told me the truth, and he started crying a little bit, and we got to the root of it. He was embarrassed because he's not good at it. I'm like, newsflash, how do you get good at anything? By sucking at it in the beginning, so I know that kind of got long-winded, but I just feel like I'm in the right spot to have these conversations with these kids. And in a few years' time, I hope that what we're doing over there transfers not only just to more wins athletically in this town, but just kids. It's a toxic culture. It's like every 6 months, kid kills himself around here. And it's like, because there's bullying and there's kids are mean to each other. It's just like, and you take that one step further, you got to look at the next generation up. That's the parents. What's going on there? Right?
Well, here's what's going on there. A coach didn't have those parents. They didn't say to those parents exactly what you just said to those kids. What I'm saying is, the kid who said the swear word said, well, we're out of session. What mom and dad's probably doing the same thing.
Right.
And no coach ever grabbed them at one time and corrected it.
Mm-hmm.
We're left to ourselves. We're a disaster. Left to our own imagination, boys, young girls, we're a disaster. Very few are going to go down the right path. I mean, we live in a very evil, dark world where we naturally sin is easier. Being good and righteous is always harder because it takes discipline. It takes being uncomfortable. I love what you're doing. I mean, my mind is just racing of I'm not doing enough. That's literally what I'm thinking right now. Like, I'm not doing enough for the young athletes, for the young kids. That's why I love, coaching. You're coaching. That's why I love coaching is, I get to, I'm just not doing it right now. So now I'm thinking like I'm not doing enough. You're making me feel bad about myself here.
Oh gosh.
I'm kidding.
Well, to make you feel better, JP, if it wasn't for you in my life, I wouldn't be the man I am today. So you've coached me.
That made me feel better. Make me feel better about myself now. Well, let's go down that. But you are, and we'll talk about what you're doing from the Well-Built Humans, from the No Athlete Left Behind. We'll talk about all that, but let's catch up. Graduate in college, you get out of college, you meet Jenny. Then where do you go? Where does your passion of fitness really takes you somewhere?
Well, so I was originally going to go for physical therapy school, and I didn't get in the first time around. So I got put on waiting lists for the next admissions time frame. And I think this is another way of God looking out for me and saying, nah, you don't want to be there, dude. That's not where I want you. And so I ended up in personal training. So I ended up to pay the bills, right? when school's over, man, that you got a 6-month grace period, and then all of a sudden, man, here comes the bills. So I started personal training in the Twin Cities. Before that, I was driving Coca-Cola truck. I was trying to get my CDL, failed that bad boy a couple times. But again,
that's why Jenny always drives everywhere you go. Jenny drives.
No,
she'd have passed that CDL.
Probably would have. I'm a very good driver. I really am. I've never even had a ticket outside of a underage drinking ticket and driving ticket, which was, anyway, that's a story for another day. But I think I was a flawless. I mean, I drove all summer long for Coca-Cola, and then I had these tests, and but anyways, I ended up failing. I won't bore you with all the details, even though they're kind of funny. then I was looking for other jobs while I was doing that. I was just a means to the next job. And I ended up getting a personal training job in the Twin Cities, because when I was working for Coca-Cola, that was actually in La Crosse, Wisconsin. And that's where I met Clinton Helget. I didn't know Clinton from anybody. He was the owner of this personal training studio. I got the job. So I started personal training, just general population, not athletes. And I trained thousands and thousands and thousands of sessions. Ended up becoming the manager of that studio for 3 years, and learned great skills, just how to talk to people, really. Interpersonal skills, how to have tough conversations with people. I guess consultative selling would be another skill that I learned there, just how to have good relationships with people, and then, sell them the solution that they need, and, but after that, I kind of hit that ceiling where there was just nothing, there's no room for more growth there, and wanted to get back into working with athletes. So, I ended up getting a job with the Cubs, Chicago Cubs in baseball as a strength coach. So I ended up there as a minor league strength coach. I was their Class A advanced strength coach. I was in Daytona Beach, Florida. And I thought that was going to be, just like my dream job. And it wasn't, although I really enjoyed the experience. I cherished the experience. And it just, in that stage of my life, was really hard. I had just gotten married. And it just, where I was at with I didn't have faith at that point in my life. I was still very worldly. And I was on a personal development journey, and I was committed to my bride, but I was still very green. I was still very, like you said before, left to ourselves, we are very sinful in nature. And being away in a long distance, because they wanted me in Florida the next year. And I was just like, man, this is not a good recipe for me if I live this far away from my wife. And so I ended up saying no to that. But in that first season, though, I got so this is how we met, JP. Just in the supplement world, I got introduced to a brand of products that I liked. I liked what it was about. They were safe for athletes, so I started taking them just for myself. Found out you could earn income with it. And it was a direct selling company. So you couldn't just buy it from the store. You had to contact somebody. Well, guess who that somebody was? It was the Fit Archer, JP.
Yeah, so one day I get this email. So I'm involved in, and I don't ever talk about this on my podcast, Fit Archer. I'm a nutrition nut. I love it. Yeah. I love supplements. I have been on supplements since 1993 when I graduated college, and there's never a day that I go without them. I'm a firm believer in taking supplementation. I mean, I eat really good. I just posted something on my Instagram. There's this 28-day challenge going out where it says, hey, for 28 days, challenge yourself not to eat ice cream, drink soda, eat chips, blah, 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 this and that, and then challenge somebody else. I'm like, isn't that just what we're supposed to do? Yeah. I mean, I eat really good. Like I've been on a really, really great stretch for a long time of eating really good. But even in that, I just think supplements are absolutely necessary. Our drink that we drink now, Zeal. I don't get any of that stuff. I mean, I have a huge salad every day, fresh organic salad every day for lunch, topped with, I'm going to start topping with my moose meat, but usually topped with chicken or steak. But even in all those ingredients, I don't get everything that's in just that all-in-one nutrition drink. I mean, so I'm a believer, and I get this email. So I'm in the business, I have a nutrition business, and it's in the direct sales industry. And of course, you're always trying to recruit good people. I get this email. Hey, my name is Brandon LaRue. I'm a strength coach for the Chicago Cubs, and I'd like to ask you some questions about your supplements. And I'm like, what? Like, this is incredible. And I ended up calling you. I remember exactly where I was. I was leaving Derek Toshner's house. Was doing a nutritional mixer at his house. I'm leaving. It's the first day. I just had gotten a phone where I could accept emails. I don't remember if you'll remember this, but it was a BlackBerry.
Yep.
And I called you, and we talked, and we had a nice little conversation. Then you emailed me again, like the next day, and I called right away. And you said, you're like, I just spit all over the microphone. I'm like, you said, dang, do you just sit by your email and then call me? I'm like, well, no, I actually have a phone that gets an email. And so I called you on it, but we had a good conversation. That's how our relationship started. I remember coming to Minnesota, you were back, and there was an event we were going to go to, and a good friend of ours named Mike Wade was going to be speaking, and he was a former college football coach and just a man's man kind of guy. And I remember bringing you to that, and then we went out to dinner afterward, and I'm like, yes, Brandon guy's pretty cool. And we got a lot in common. I had no idea that we had as much in common as we like how God works in so many amazing ways. Like every story you tell, I'm like, wait a minute, were you with me? Like, how did I not know you when you were in the Crescent?
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Kindred spirits, man. So that was, and then we just have developed a great friendship first and foremost, but we were in business together for a good stretch, and we still are, and so that's, after baseball, that business became kind of where I kind of planted some roots for our family, because I was married and we started having kids, and it allowed us a lot of freedom, and freedom to an outdoorsman means hunting and fishing, and I, like you, that was a driver for me, was flexibility and time freedom. The ability to earn some good income, because with that buys you time, and the ability to earn it relatively passively is also a perk for an outdoorsman. And so that's why I still pursue those things to this day, because I want time with my family. Don't get me wrong. I'm not just selfishly looking to hunt and fish all the time, although I love to hunt and fish. Like, it is, I could, that on that little sea eagle. So we better explain what the sea eagle is. So sea eagle is, if you just you can Google it, sea eagle. It's an inflatable pontoon. There's different models, but mine is the Fold Cat 375, I think it's what it's called. So it folds like into, 6 feet long, and I can hold it, and it's inflatable, and it's very sturdy. It's very durable. It takes 15 minutes to inflate, and I have my son do it while I'm getting everything ready. And then it's got a transom. I got to just throw on my 52-pound thrust Old Minn Kota that I almost sold, and I'm glad I didn't. And I go buzzing around on these Mississippi backwaters, and I could fish from dawn till dusk, and just get completely lost in it and just fish. I don't know, man. I've always been that way. Like, my grandpa used to take me fishing, and he'd be like, do you ever want to stop? And I'm like, no, there's another bend we got to fish. Like, why would you stop?
Well, that sea eagle better make its way to Colorado in a couple weeks.
Jenny keeps saying, are we really going to bring the sea eagle? And I'm like, Jenny, I think JP would be very disappointed if I didn't bring the sea eagle.
Maybe I should look on Craigslist and see if that one's still available. If it is, maybe I should pick one up. Then we could, boys could go and.
Yeah, I could have more than one. Well, yeah, if you can get it, I'm going to bring it. So,
we'll just get up super early, and we'll fish from 4 to 7. Nobody's even going to be awake by the time we get back.
Well, yeah, and on that reservoir, the Dillon
I'm at
Reservoir.
4 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Yeah, right. But then there's great trout fishing from shore around there too, so we can, we'll get the kids out and catch some trout too. But
it's going to be good. Hey, going back to I think this is always a good point you make, because so many people are caught up, in our world today. Sports is, there's idolatry in sports, unlike there is any other field. People idolize athletes. I was thinking of this morning. We're in a very, very weird time in America today. We won't even get into that. We're just in a really, really weird time. And not everybody that has a platform uses it for good. It's just the way it is. But you're in there working with athletes, and to most guys that love fitness, I would think that being a strength coach of a major league baseball team has got to be the end all be all. Like, why in the world would you ever want to leave that? Like, kind of what's the, why would you ever want to leave that when that was what you were
I
driving
think
force?
because at that point in my life, I still thought that way. I was still very, and what I mean to all the people that will listen to this, worldly, is my life before Christ. Okay. I saw things differently. And when I found Christ and I was saved, I mean, it transformed my heart, transformed how I saw things. And so while I was chasing the whole Cubs thing, you know, it was kind of like my second chance at being something, you know, like athletically. Well, if I couldn't be a professional baseball player, which I felt in my heart I had the ability and squandered it. Well, if I'm a professional strength coach and I'm around them, that appeases my pride, you know? And then, so I just had my alignment was off. And when I got strong on my faith, it shifted. And, you know, like you said, JP, sports are idolized, and there's some athletes that have a platform to do some really good things. And there's a lot of them that don't. And so it became less about me and more about others when I found Christ, you know, to serve others, you know, and I'm not perfect, you know, but so like when I think about making an impact, what greater impact could it be
Shut the garage door.
with that next generation of kids, you know, and help mold them? Because to be honest, JP, when people get into their 20s, into their 30s, they have so many bad habits. It's not a death sentence. It's not like they can't change. But even working with, I mean, I ran a boot camp here recently with a bunch of adults, and it is the most frustrating thing for me to work with adults when, hey, how's Livia doing, bud? She good? You still by her? Okay. Keep it up.
Is Brooksy babysitting?
Yeah, he's reading books to her right now.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm almost done, bud. Yep. Just be patient. Thank you. So where was I?
Working that boot camp with adults.
Yeah. And so the whole pandemic hits, and you know what? They might see this, but I'm just going to be real. They know I love them. They know I'm hard on them. But when that pandemic hit, I kind of laid it out for them. I'm like, look, here's what's about to happen. You don't have accountability. I was your accountability. I was feeding you a fish every day. If you're familiar with the story in the Bible about, you know, you can, or you've heard the saying, you feed a man a fish, or you teach him how to fish. I want to teach people how to fish when it comes to their health and fitness, so they are empowered to do it by themselves. And that's how I coach. That's how my boot camp went. It was very educational, although I ran the workouts. And as soon as that thing hit, I'm like, okay, everyone, you're in my online program. You're going to be doing these workouts. You're going to come get an in-body assessment done, and you're going to do that monthly. So you can come back and have some accountability for at least maintaining. Because if you don't do these things, I promise you're going to backslide into bad habits. And in 3 months, you'll lose all progress and probably be worse off than when you began with me. Well, guess what happened? Everyone would cancel their in-body assessments because they didn't want to face the music, and they just got sedentary and made bad habits. Not all of them, but most of them. And for me, it makes me not want to do it again. You know, I would rather work with very moldable kids that don't have all these. They got some bad habits. Some of them a lot of these kids are gaming fools, so we make fun of them a lot.
I hate video games, Brandon.
We call them.
I hate them.
You know,
My son's looking at me right now, and I hate them.
I do too. And it's lighthearted in how I joke with them, because, you know, you got to approach it that way. I mean, you don't want them to hate you, because then they don't trust you and then they don't want to learn from you. But so we jokingly give them a hard time, but we see COD back. You're like,
what?
COD back?
What's COD back?
So Call of Duty, right? Big video game. So they call it COD, Call of Duty. That's the acronym. They call it COD. And these kids, they can't move. They're kyphotic, which, they got poor posture and they can't move. And it's because they play video games all day. Their hips, they can't move. And I've asked so many kids this question, and I've gained I've developed some rapport with them. So I asked them these questions, like, just tell me honestly, I'm not going to judge you. So how many hours would you say you play of video games every day? It is common 3 to 4. I've heard 8 to 10. And I'm just like, oh my goodness.
I'm telling you, man, it's a different world today than the way we grew up. We had video games. There wasn't masters of manipulation formulating the video games like they do today. Mm-hmm. They hire the greatest engineers that know it's doing something to a kid's mind. The same thing drugs do. I tell my kids all this all the time. And I'm guilty of letting my kids play games, because I'm working a new career and I just can't have them on me. We live in Phoenix, so it's hot. My wife's like, what else are they going to do? I'm like, well, we got to figure out something else out, because we can't just be, well, what else are we going to do, and just let them do that. I believe it's going to be a demise we see the results of, and we're seeing some results of it now in some areas in America. That.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I'm not exactly sure how we got on that trail other than with working with kids. And so we challenged them.
Because you were mad at those adults on the boot camp.
Yeah. Yeah.
You'd rather work with moldable, teachable kids.
Yeah. And that's just one of their bad habits. But but they're so moldable and impressionable. And I feel like you can make such a bigger difference with them. And not that I'll never work with adults again, but that's just me being real with people. And, but these kids, like, we're already getting emails from parents, like, what are you doing with my kid? Like, he doesn't want to play as much video games. He has a better attitude. He's actually eating fruit instead of just packaged food and stuff all the time. And he's just a better kid all around. And I'm like, awesome. I mean, that's just music to our ears. So
it's no secret that the older we get, the deeper and tighter our brain is wired to do what we've always done. And I see this. You see this. You're in the fitness industry in a bigger capacity than I am, but I see, because of social media, I see all these people that come out and they're going to do this new challenge, and I'm up at 4 a.m. and, I can't believe it. And they're showing muscle pictures and they're flexing every single day. And 3 months later, do I see them anymore? No. And then 2 years later or a year later, they're back on another program. This is the greatest program I've ever seen before. Here it's going to go. I call it stubborn discipline when it comes to fitness. Now I am a flawed individual, but I've got the fitness part worked out.
Yeah.
A lot of other areas I got to get worked out. That's one I have worked out, that I've been stubborn discipline no matter what. I'm not feeling 100% today. I've worked out hard all week. I didn't go into the gym this morning. I went out and I still got 4-round workout in, and it was a butt kicking work. It was a great workout, and I'll get a second one in tonight. That's just the way I do it, because I got stubborn discipline. When I lay there, I'm like, I just don't feel like working out. I'm like, but I gotta. It's just what I gotta do. But if you can't bring that stubborn discipline to your life, and you only get excited when a new program comes out, you don't develop the consistency to turn it into a lifestyle. If working out doesn't become a lifestyle, you're going to struggle with it. You're going to be up and down. It's going to be a roller coaster. When I first got out of college, I was a steam fitter. And I got lucky. I worked in lacrosse, and I worked with this crew, and the foreman worked 6 to 2:30. Man, that was my job. And I made great money, 6 to 2:30, every 6 a.m. to 2:30. So I get done, and I'd have these guys ask me all the time, like, so what do you do when you leave at 2:30? Like, what's the rest of your day look like? I was 21, 22 years old, single, so they were all married and, older in their 40s, 50s. They're probably learning, like, well, what does this guy do? I said, well, I go home, I eat something, I might take a quick nap, and then I go work out. You know what they always would say? Well, if you feel the need, you got energy to go work out, then you didn't work hard enough at the job. Every single day. And I'm always like, that's totally different. I could have the most butt-kicking 8-hour workout hauling pipe around all day long. Guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to go home. I'm going to eat a little something. I'm going to take a quick 10-minute power nap, and I'm going to work out at the gym, because it became a lifestyle to me very early on in my life. And so I think what you're doing with kids right now is so important, more important than what fitness clubs are doing with adults, because you're hardwiring their brain to realize fitness is important. Like some people won't agree with this, but I'm hard on my kids when it comes to working out. I mean, I say some things sometimes that other parents would probably not say. I mean, as far as, and I don't mean, I'm not a mean person, you know that, but I'll talk about obesity. I'll talk about flabby belly and what the girls are looking like. I have a daughter. And I got sons, and talk about the things. Hey, here's what's going to happen in the future. You can get away with eating that right now and not working out, but you can at 35. Look at all the 35 and 40-year-olds right now. The vast majority. Why do we have 75% overweight rate? Type 2 diabetes running rampant in America, because everybody thought, well, I was 16, I could eat pizza every day and not necessarily work out. I just go run track and I was fit. Well, guess what happens at 30, 35, 40, 45? Now you look up and you're 40 pounds overweight. Your joints hurt because you don't mobilize them. Everything hurts. You go to the gym for 1 week and you're so sore you never do it again. Now you're on 10 different medications and our healthcare system's crumbling, and they blame everybody in government for it.
Right.
Hardwired. That was on a soapbox rant right there.
Well, it's accurate. I mean, if people would just do the mirror test, a lot of our world's problems could be solved by looking at the stinking mirror.
Amen. And getting to our knees and looking for Jesus. I mean, I'll tell you.
Yeah, right. For sure.
I think in our world, I'm a little off on topic, but I love talking to you about this, because your life, I got to watch your life change. And I didn't know you before Christ as much. I mean, just a little bit, but I got to witness I haven't cried in a while, Brandon. You know?
Oh, is this the inaugural JP cry on?
It could be. Golly. I got to witness the transformation at an event of you accepting Christ, really. And just look down that aisle and sit there and see you just get broken. And not broken in a bad way. Wow, my tears are running down my face. What is this salty discharge? Maybe the listeners don't know I'm very emotional, but I got to witness that and then see you become the man that you are today over these last 10, 11 years, whatever it's been, in just the lives that you touch, the boldness that you have for Jesus. I mean, the tattoo of Jesus in your old work shed, that you're always having a picture of Jesus in the background, always doing the Lord's work. But I think in America today, of course we face some racism. Of course we face different things. I mean, why? Because there's evil. Because we live in a world of good and evil. And we have, if there's one thing that we need to make happen, is we need to go back and have a huge country reset and stop allowing evil to enter into every area of our lives. I mean, from pornography to the alcohol to racism to everything that goes against what the good Lord teaches. And it doesn't mean we're judgmental. It just means, hey, we live the way that God teaches us to live as best we can. And then we get on our knees and profess our sins before him and ask for forgiveness every day, but that's what we're facing is good and evil right now. And we need more good, like what you're doing all over the place. Cause you're not just teaching kids how to work out. You're also sharing Jesus with them. I know that. Maybe it's just in the way that you live your life, and maybe not always with words, but in your actions you do, and you do it awesome.
I appreciate that, man. And yeah, I don't know if we keep down that trail, that might be all we talk about. If people can't at least study the life of Christ and fall in love with who he was, and agree that if we lived that way, like he did, these problems would go away. They would. It's bigger than that. It's bigger than that, because he's got eternity attached to him when you believe in him and accept him and ask for forgiveness. But at a very common sense level, just read the New Testament and read how relevant it is to our times, and get a life application Bible if you don't quite understand everything, and just read it and just watch your mind transform, and hopefully your heart isn't calloused and hard, and let it soften. And if that's what's happening, you're on the right path, you know?
You know that documentary, The Chosen, or the.
Oh yeah.
So I want to tell you, because this will go to hunting. I mean, we spin it back to a little bit of archery here real quick. And
Yeah.
so my archery people, you know, it's our outdoor people aren't like, oh, what is this soapbox? I encourage you just to continue to listen here for a minute.
Yeah.
So my wife started to watch The Chosen, and it's an app based on the life of Jesus. And they say it. It's not 100% biblically. They're not following every story in the Bible, but it's here's what got me. My wife was laying in bed every night and she was watching. And I typically read every night, and I'll go on spurts where I'll read every night, and then I'll watch something on an iPad for a couple nights, and then I'll go back to reading. Well, somebody had told me about the Born and Raised YouTube channel. They were really good hunters. And so one night I didn't want to read, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to just see what the Born and Raised is. Well, they had this 10 episode YouTube of, they drew an elk tag in Arizona. And so I thought I would watch it. I'm like, oh, let me watch these guys and watch them elk hunt in Arizona. So I'm watching it, and every night Angie'd get done. She'd be like, you have got to watch The Chosen. I cry every episode. And I'm like, I will. I just got a couple of more episodes of this elk hunting thing quick. When I get over, I'll get to The Chosen. Well, I'm sitting eating lunch one day, eating my big salad, and you had posted on Facebook the 3-minute ad for The Chosen, and it was one of the last episodes where Jesus met the Samaritan woman at the well.
Mm-hmm.
It freaking rocked me at my table. And I looked at my wife, I'm like, I gotta watch The Chosen. She goes, oh, sure, you'll listen to Brandon, but you won't listen to me. And I'm like, well, third-party credibility. I started watching it, and here's what that did to me from a Christianity standpoint. We'll never I love my kids. I love them. I love my little dog. You know, I love to go hunting. I mean, but let's just talk about kids. I love my kids. But I will never experience love the way I'm going to experience it when I get to meet Jesus face to face. And in that Chosen, it was depicted better than anything I'd ever had seen, whether it was the woman at the well, it was some of the disciples when they meet him and they were talking to him, and, you know, Jesus was funny and he was human. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, we always have him up on this, he's just this robot. And we read the biblical stories, and he's just this robot going to towns. Well, they depicted him as a funny guy. He would joke and he would laugh. But then the lady at the well got up next to him, and she's like, well, if you knew me, you know, you wouldn't be talking to me. And he goes, I know everything about you. And all of a sudden you see her look at him, and she realizes in her spirit, she just met God. Mm-hmm. And she melts. Every single time I think about that, I melt and think, we have no clue. We can read about it, and we still don't have a clue what it's going to be like when we get to meet our Maker face to face. The love that he has for every single human, good and
Mm-hmm.
evil. Even if they're evil, he still loves them. And I just don't believe people believe that. I think they believe that I've done so many bad things that God couldn't, if there's a God that can never love me. And he's just sitting there saying, oh gosh, you just have no idea how much I love you. I made you in my image.
And then I think, you know, probably even more people, this is what really frightens me, is they're like Nicodemus in, I forget what episode it was, where they maybe were raised in the church, maybe they went to Bible school, you know, I mean, Sunday school, maybe they grew up Catholic, Lutheran, whatever denomination, but they've never actually accepted Christ. Maybe they got baptized as a kid, and that's what they're hanging their hat on. Like Nicodemus, where he gets so close to following Christ, and he just couldn't do it. He couldn't leave his former life. And when he's just, you could just see the pain and anguish that he's just in that moment, like that's what fuels me to continue on to be bold, and it encourages me to have, I mean, these are tough conversations to bring up sometimes. Like, man, people are going to think I'm a weirdo. But I think there's even more people like that, JP, that are just on the cusp, that are scared to commit to the greatest thing they could ever commit to.
Yeah, that was incredible, because Nicodemus, when he was at that table with Jesus, he melted before him when he realized he was the Lord.
Yes.
I mean, melted like wax. And then he hid around the corner and Jesus was waiting for him. You saw that. Jesus was like, anybody else coming? And Nicodemus is around the corner, broken. That ripped my heart out, because you're exactly right. And we say it's hard conversation. But now let me time out. Let me put time out, rewind the tape.
Zach Morris timeout.
Yeah. The Fit Archer is also about being spiritually fit. And I said that in my first episode. So if somebody's getting off track, like, what are they talking so much about this? Because this is more important to me than any fitness. This is more important to me than any hunt I've ever been on. This is more important to me than my own family. And somebody's going to have a hard time understanding that. But if we don't put Jesus number one in our life, a lot of things go wrong. And even when we do put him number one in our life, life is not without trial.
Right.
I want you to talk about that. You're an incredible writer. You have a book that's coming out. You're an incredible writer. I know you're a good writer, but I don't think you know how good of a writer you are. Every time I read one of your posts, Lessons from Libya, here I go again.
I'll probably follow suit.
But even in our pursuit of Jesus, life doesn't come without challenges or setbacks. Doesn't mean you give your life to Jesus and, all right, all my world's problems are going to go away. He never says that. He just says, take heart. I've overcome the world. Take my yoke upon you. It's light. So talk about the challenges you have had to face, even in the midst of that, and how you guys you've lived so good in the midst of it. So kudos to you.
Well, that's the grace of God. I mean, that's what you have access to when you believe. It's a gift. When people wonder how in the world, I did my best to communicate that in the book. Special Strength Lessons from Libya. That's the title of the book. In fact, I haven't officially launched it, but it is available. You can buy it on Amazon. So I'll probably do a Facebook Live or something later today with Livia. The trials of many kinds, right? There's trials of many kinds. That business we built together, JP, got ripped away from us by no doing of ourselves. That was tough. And our income got stripped from us, so from a financial standpoint that was tough. But before that even happened, and a big reason and a further purpose for having built that business was my daughter Livia, because she has special needs. She's got a very rare form of epilepsy called KCNQ2, and it just leaves her very, in the world's eyes, delayed cognitively, motor control wise. She can't walk, she can't talk. In other words, she can't hold her head up. She can't communicate. So, but she does. Okay. That's just through the world's eyes. That's what people will see. And, if it wasn't for my faith in Christ and that lens and perspective and heart position, this would be very tough. It is tough, but not in it's very difficult to explain because it's miraculous. And miraculous things are hard to explain. But I've done my best to explain the lessons and perspectives that Livia and God have been showing me in this book. What's incredible is there's 20 lessons in this book, and none of them have been spoken to me by Livia. They've been shown to me. They've been cooed to me. And they've rocked me. They've brought me to my knees. They've shown me my shortcomings. So that trial in my life is been the greatest blessing, though. People need to understand that trials are opportunities for growth, and there's something to be learned. There's a reason, and I believe the Lord, what a gift she is for me, for us, for our family. I think a lot of people would go on the outside looking in, would think, man, that must be tough, to have to be the parent of a special needs child. And it's the opposite. It's the most rewarding thing you could ever do. And most hard things in life are, so like I look at my daughter and I see an angel. I see perfection. I see what Jesus sees. And if I had this conversation with Becky Allen the other day, I feel like us as humans are so flawed and so messed up. And I look at Livia and she doesn't carry any of that. Mm-hmm. She's got some physical stuff, some cognitive stuff, but which I really don't think she lacks. I think she's very, very smart. She just communicates differently. She moves differently, but she doesn't battle with this sin and these disgusting thoughts and stuff that we battle daily as regular folk. So it's been fascinating to be her dad and to learn from her and Christ. And so I don't know how else to explain it, JP. That's what the book's about. And, Amazon's interesting. I published through Amazon. I haven't even received my copy, and I got people showing me copies of the book that they got. And I'm like, well, I sure hope that I've had it edited and everything, but I ordered some author copies like 2 weeks ago, and I haven't received them yet. And now people are ordering it, and they got the book before I do. And I'm like,
I wish you would have made it known. I would have had a copy here for this.
Well, I am going to. I wanted to get my own copies before I started promoting it because I wanted to make any corrections. Like,
yeah,
So
you might have 2 books out before. Most people, before you just might have 2 books out because you might have a second edition real quick right away.
Yeah, seriously. So that's why I really, that's how I wanted it to go, but it didn't go that way. Then Jenny and I were texting back and forth because she's out of town. One of her dear friends passed away of breast cancer. And so she's like, oh, I'm bummed that we didn't get the book before other people are getting it. And I'm like, I was kind of like, yeah, that's kind of lame. But I said, Jenny, we live it every day. They get to read about it, but we get to live it.
Yeah.
She's like, that's pretty good. I'm like, well, yeah.
I'll hang up when we get done with this. I'll be getting a book, and I hope every single listener goes to Amazon and buys the book. I'm telling you, I got to read a couple excerpts from it, and you've just shared a lot of stuff over the years through social media, and I know it'll be a game changer, an absolute game changer in every single person's life that reads it. So you can count on us. We'll be promoting it heavy because I know it's going to do its work. So I love you for that, man. Let's talk real quick, and then I know you got to get going. You got Brooksy, your 8-year-olds babysitting Livia and Brady. Where's Brady?
Brady's with Jenny.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise, this would have got cut off long ago if Brady was around.
So you got Well-Built Humans. You've got No Athlete Left Behind. I want you to talk about things you got. And then I just want to talk about a couple fitness type things. And then
sure.
I want you to be able to share how people can find you, follow you, get involved in all that you're doing. So what all kind of platforms you got going?
So Well-Built Humans, that's, if you can see my hat there, that's my brand, if you will. And it's an offshoot of a lot of different things, but it's all about kind of my passions in life. So kettlebells and kettlebell training is an aspect of it. In fact, I'm close to having some kettlebells made, and some really cool kettlebells being made, and nutrition. So there's that aspect, but a lot of things we talked about today, JP, being a good parent, strong in our faith, like that's part of the brand. Hunting, fishing, it's part of the brand. And now this book, I guess, is Well-Built Humans book number 1. So it's interesting that this was birthed out of that other business being kind of stripped away. And I always felt like during that journey, I was being equipped for something else. And I think just being a good servant of Christ and disciple, but also from a business standpoint, I felt like I was equipped to go do something of my own, and I didn't know what it was. And Well Built Humans is what sprung from that. And I got so many passions like you, JP, like you got fitness, you got hunting, you got fishing, you got kids. And for those of you, JP is humble. He's one of the greatest inspirational guys I've ever met. So he won't ever tell you that. I'll tell you that. In fact, one of the, there's some lessons in that book that comes straight from that man right there. That he's written about in that book. So that's my brand, it's all those things. So there's ways to engage. I got people reaching out to me that want to start a business, and they're like, and this guy reached out to me recently. He's like, I have no idea why I'm contacting you other than I really like your content and I think you can help me. And I'm like, well, let's set up a Zoom and talk. And we just talk. And the guy wants to start a wrestling camp, a guy called Grappling with God. And I'm like, well, that's awesome. So let's talk about what's your vision. And he's telling me his vision, and he just needed someone to tell him it's okay to go. Like, dude, go. Here's what you need to do. I'll help you with some marketing things, but go. And he's filled up already. He hasn't even started it yet. He's filled up. I'm like, he just needed someone to, like, I think, talk to that he thought he could trust, similar in faith, and just give him a couple encouraging words, have some conversations, give him a couple tactics, and boom. So that's one. I booked a speaking. I didn't book a speaking gig. Someone reached out to me. Someone threw my name in the hat to be a keynote speaker at a college when everything kicks back in August. I got a email. Hey, you got selected to be our keynote speaker for like 500, 600 college kids. And I'm like, okay. And the topic's overcoming adversity. I'm like, that I can do. So I'm like, okay, so I guess
where that comes from? You said something that I do not want to miss sharing with people. That guy that started the wrestling camp, Grappling with God, he said, I like your content. Social media is the devil's playground, but we can win.
Yes.
We can use it for good. You use it for good all the time. You're always talking fitness. You're always talking well-built humans. You're always talking about being a better human in some capacity. And guess what that does? That's a light in a dark world. I mean, obviously the biggest divide in our country is right now that we've probably ever seen, even going back in the past. Even at the Civil War, I think we're probably more divided than we were in the Civil War. And I think social media has almost everything to do with it. Yeah. I really do. So kudos to you for living it out. And I encourage everybody, be a light on it. I posted something. I see some of my old posts when I was getting political, and they pop up in Time Hop, and I have to do a face palm plant on my face. Like, what was I even trying to accomplish? Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad you brought that up. I read a devotional years ago. Maybe you've heard me tell this before, but I know everyone else hasn't heard this. So it was Tony Dungy, the football coach, the African-American football coach, who I think he's amazing. And he's got some great stuff out there. And there's just this 1 year uncommon challenge. And it's a 365-day devotional. And I did his 1 year uncommon challenge. And one of the days was social media. He said almost exact words you just said right there, JP. It's social media is here to stay. It's only going to get bigger, but it's dark. It's evil. And what are we called to do? We're called to be light. So you can avoid it. You cannot participate in it. And that's fine if you don't. I mean, there's plenty of ways to be a light in a dark world. But that's just one of the places that I took that as a challenge from Tony Dungy, to be a light in a dark place. And ever since then, I've tried to be a light. And I'm telling you, if you are, I'm encouraging everybody, if you choose to be a light in that place consistently through time. Is she? Okay, I'll be done. I'll be done, bud. Thank you. Just talk with her, okay? Oh yeah, she's hungry. She's yelling at me.
Okay, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Finish up and then we'll wrap up.
Okay. And people will reach out to you. I've had so many conversations about Christ with not completely random people, but very, mere acquaintances that from long ago reach out and go, hey man, I just, you could tell they're searching, and you get to have a conversation with them. And to business conversations, to all these different things, because you're a light. People want to be around it. They might not necessarily always say those things, but they want it.
Yeah.
They want what you have access to if you choose to be a light in that place. So if we all collectively did that, man, what a difference we can make.
What a difference. You're doing it, man. You're making a difference. How can everybody follow you? Where can they find all your platforms?
You can find me on Facebook. Just search Well Built Humans. You'll find it on Facebook. Same thing with Instagram. It's Well Built Humans. And follow me on those things. I would love, to aim to be a light in your life too. And hopefully, we didn't get to talk much hunting and fishing, but
we'll do a part 2.
But that's probably a good thing, because I am a great average outdoorsman. I'm a pretty good fisherman. I know how to catch most fish, although I'm not an expert probably at any of them. I need to become a better bow hunter. My friend JP is the model consistency, and he gives me a hard time in a brotherly fashion where I need to get better.
Here's what we'll do part 2 when we're in Colorado in a couple weeks. We're going to be our families, and I can't wait.
Let's do it.
Because normally we're together already this year and we haven't gotten to, and so our families are meeting in Colorado. We'll do part 2. We'll bring the podcast in. We'll do part 2. We'll talk hunting.
Awesome.
I'm excited for you for so many reasons. I'm excited to see you because I haven't seen you in a while.
Likewise, man.
I'm excited for your kettlebells to make it. If I've already been telling people, reach out to Brandon LaRue. I think he's gonna. Yeah. I don't even know if he got kettlebells yet, but
not yet, but soon, hopefully.
He's gonna have his own brand of kettlebells made in the USA. I mean, that's incredible. But
La Crosse,
Wisconsin, home of champions. Brandon, I know you got to get to go feed Livy and Brooksy.
Mm-hmm.
I love you, man. I really do. I appreciate you jumping on and just sharing. And you are the epitome of the fit archer. You spiritually fit. You're physically fit. And you are an archer. You're an outdoorsman. So you fit the mold very, very well. I've really enjoyed it. I can't wait for part 2. We always have a lot of fun when we get together. Yeah, and we'll get on and we'll tell some good fun hunting stories and all that kind of stuff and do a part 2. So, man, I love you.
Love you too. Thanks for having me, man.
All right. God bless you, buddy. Take care.
God bless you.